If you're ready, Miss Cook.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Hello, everyone. Hi. As some of you may know, my name is Mr. Priestley.
I'm Miss Hinks.
And we are going to be the Year 6 team together with Mr. Moore next year in 2026-27. I cannot quite believe that this cohort has made it to Year 6. That is absolutely wild, because they started in reception, and some of them started in Fox Cubs the very first year that Fox Cubs opened. So it's crazy full that cycle. We've almost made that full cycle. Here's the team for next year. I'm here in Falcons with the current Kestrels. Mrs. Phillips' current class are coming up to me here in Falcons, and they've got me all throughout the week. And then it's slightly different in Eagles.
Yeah, so I'll have Kites next door. I'll be teaching on a Tuesday, Wednesday and a Thursday, and they'll have Mr. Moore every Monday and Friday.
So that's what it's going to look like next year. We just thought we'd put this in as a little reminder for you. Your kids will be able to say this off by heart and off by rote. They know, and you can feel free to use it at home. Say, Mr. Priestley and Miss Hinks gives us permission, so you need to be ready, respectful and safe. But the one thing that we do like to say as well is that actually that applies to everyone, whether they're staff or whether they're pupils as well. It's not just your school rules for you kids, it's very much for us as well. And that's the expectation for everyone at all times. And there's just some examples down here of what ready, respectful and safe all looks like. And we, as you may or may not know, that we've got dojos that equate to those on Dojo. So they can get a respectful dojo or a ready dojo. Safe dojos are quite hard to give out for specific things, but sometimes they do come out in PE and things like that. But yes, I think everything sort of falls into that umbrella of it's expected that you're ready, that you're respectful, and that you're safe.
So we wanted to put this little bit in here. Attendance is really important any year, but especially in Year 6. We've kind of got a little bit of a reminder here that there's 175 non-school days in the year. So we would really like children to be on this kind of excellent 100%. You know, we do understand people are ill. We will give them some days off. So when we are looking at this 96, we want them to be above 96% in terms of their attendance. When you drop below kind of the 92 and below 90, you'll have Mrs. Charman to be dealing with. She'll just kind of talk to you, think, how can we support you? Because we're not saying that it's just for anything, but actually, how can we support you to get them in a little bit more? It's really important in Year 6 attendance because they don't want to miss out on the good things. That's all we spoke about this morning, was all the fun things that we're going to be doing. So they'll come home with a big list. After our SATs, which we will talk a lot about today, we do a whole writing SATs, which isn't kind of an actual SATs paper, but we do a whole month of writing. We have an extra month to do writing instead of just one paper. So that is until the end of June that we will be assessing. And if children aren't here, we won't be able to give them the teacher judgment, so they might not meet the standard. So it's really, really important that they are here during, all the time, but definitely during June. We have had some issues this year, and we have issues every year of children missing like market days and the kind of the end of year treat, rehearsals for production. So we're trying to give you as much dates as possible, so you know when all of these things are. We're still finalising a couple, but by kind of autumn term, you will know all of the dates of all the different things we're here for. So it's not like things stop in Year 6 after SATs. It's not the case. If anything, after SATs is just as important because we've got that writing to do as well.
Yeah, and those rites of passage as well. Yeah. But they've worked their entire primary school lives to get to production, to get to the celebration trip. So here's what a day will look like and what some of the slight changes from years past. So we'll leave via the Year 6 entrance, which is into the playground, which is, of course, just one down from where they've been leaving in Year 5 anyway. They can be collected from the playground if you're picking up any younger ones as well, or they can come and meet you to the back gate. And of course, if you're happy for your child to walk home, then that is absolutely fine. But we do need a form filled in from the office, the walking from home, or if they're walking, say, for example, you'll park slightly further down the road, because we all know that parking is so much fun at pickup time, isn't it? So if they're walking that little extra way to meet you, then filling in that form would be hugely appreciated as well. If they haven't filled it in, then unfortunately we cannot let them go. We will have to send them over to the office and they'll drop you a call. So that's an important one to bear in mind. As I don't think anything has changed from Year 5 into Year 6 about water bottles and snacks, but they're all to be labelled and in line with the snack policy. So no Kit Kats, unfortunately. Water only, and snacks should be fruit, vegetables, plain pita breads or breadsticks are fine. And pencil cases. So it's our favourite thing to do in assembly on a Friday is to say, who can tell everyone what the reminder is? And it's all your children. It's always the year 5 children who've got all of their hands up that say, pencil cases need to go home and you need to check them and stack them. So you train them well there. But it's extra important in year 6 where we're doing so much work from, in maths, we could be swapping between whiteboard pens and pencils to work in workbooks at any moment. So yeah, just a point there, and it's always really helpful to label them as well as any uniform that comes in.
Another thing, sorry, just to add on that one, is phones. We have a phone box in year 6. They are allowed to bring their phones in. They come in straight through the corridor. It's the first thing they do. They put it in a box and they get to put it away in the cupboard. It's locked away until the end of the day. So if your child does have a phone or needs one for walking home or anything like that, we don't encourage it. We won't be saying, oh, look, who's got a phone? It's quite sly. We know that some people are walking home. You want that kind of security. It'll be turned off, put in the phone into the cupboards. So communication. So please grab us for any messages at the end of the day. Just grab us, say, oh, this or that. That's absolutely fine. If you want to discuss something a little bit longer or something maybe a little bit in privacy, we might have some time at the end of the day. Come into the classroom, that's fine. In terms of emailing us, I'm in the classroom 3 days a week, but I am working full time. Whereas Mr. Moore only works on a Monday and a Friday. So if you're a parent of a Kites child, feel free to message both of us, but make sure I'm included, unless you don't want me included, and that's fine. But I will be able to pick it up every day of the week. Whereas if you message Mr. Moore, he might not be able to pick it up for another week. So please just make sure you message me in an email as well. We do have weekly dojo roundups that you're used to. We focus on our maths and English at that point. And any changes to pick up, clubs, not going to clubs, please just make the office aware and they can send it to us because we don't always look at our emails during the day. If you could just tag in basically everyone that needs to know. It's wonderful.
Much appreciated. And just a personal note for me, I tend to check my emails so much more regularly than I do my dojo. So if you really want me to see that message today, then email is definitely the best way for me personally. Lovely. So the curriculum in year 6, it definitely does do that step up from year 5. And that was some of the questions that they were asking us this morning. Actually, they were talking about what kinds of things will I learn about in year 6? And we said, well, don't worry, because we both taught year 6 quite a lot, as has Mr. Moore. We're all quite experienced year 6 teachers, and we understand how to help them make that step from the year 5 maths, especially into some of the year 6 maths. We understand that quite well, so you don't need to worry about that. But we will be thinking about preparing the children not just for SATs, which we're going to be talking about a bit more later, but also thinking about secondary school as well, like those kind of skills in science that you're going to need when it becomes chemistry, biology and physics. Also thinking about DT, and we do quite a bit of woodwork in year 6. So preparing them about using the saws safely so that when they do start thinking about secondary schools, they're hopefully a little bit more au fait and familiar with how things will work in secondary school. But in terms of details on exactly what it will be, obviously there's the curriculum map, which is on, or the long-term plan rather, which will be on the website. There's also termly curriculum newsletters as well on there, which will also detail the books that we've been reading and things like that. There's been some really, really helpful moments actually where parents have given that newsletter a scan and they said, actually, I'm a bit worried about this particular subject for my child because of various personal reasons. And actually, it's been really useful for me to know so that we can handle that in a really sensitive way. So please do give that a look when they come out.
So PE, so we will continue with the 2 PE sessions weekly. They will continue to have it on a Tuesday, and we are going to be Wednesday afternoons next year. So 2 days in a row. They will still come to school in their PE kit. We, in the summer term, evaluate whether it's right for the year group or not right for the year group to practice getting changed in school just to get them ready for secondary school, because that is something that is needed. And sometimes we feel that's quite a big jump when they just then start a new school and they're also expected to change. We don't need to know the finer details now, but we will obviously split boys and girls and make sure everybody is comfortable in doing it. But that's something kind of to bear in your mind, that actually another step to get them ready for secondary. And as well with earrings, you know the drill. They need to be ready to be taken out in a little pot on their tray, just so they're safe. They can't be doing PE or forest school, I'd probably add in, if they've got earrings in.
It's the most heartbreaking thing for me when a child has said, please can you help me take my earrings out? And I said, no, I'm really sorry, I'm just not allowed to. Also, you probably really don't want me doing that as well. So yeah, that's definitely one to think about. Here are some general expectations, which I'm sure will be quite familiar to you. They haven't changed too much from this year. We've got spelling words, which will be coming out. We're going to recap the Year 3 and the Year 4 statutory spelling words. So that's a list from the government that we've been given of words they're expected to know. And so we'll be recapping the Year 3 and 4 list before we then move on to the 5 and 6 list. This year we got that recap done nice and early in the autumn term. So we'll be able to then crack on with the Year 5 and 6 words. Although I will give you credit, all of your children spelt the word environment correctly this morning. It was written on every single surface in every single classroom, but they did it nonetheless, so it bodes well. And then also times table rock stars as well, which I know that some of you all absolutely love. They really do love that as well. So those are two great expectations for them to be practicing those things. And then it's going to change slightly next year from what we've been doing at Bisley so far. So we're going to be moving to a fortnightly homework model where there will be some set homework expectations. And again, this is thinking about secondary school. And we have been started trialling that with our current Year 6 cohort in just this term, where they have been taking home homework folders and completing some homework there. So that will be broken down into a handwriting homework, which is completing a page of the CGP handwriting book here. So hopefully that should be really nice and light touch for you guys. We were thinking very carefully about what we don't want to be too onerous a task for you. If it's completing a page in there of them tracing over the word and then copying it out, hopefully that's not something that's going to require too much supervision.
Our reasoning behind this is for a child to be at the expected level in Year 6, they have to have joined handwriting and it be legible. Okay, we understand things in the world, you know, everyone's typing nowadays, we understand that. But for a child to be at the expected level for Year 6, they have to be joining their writing. If they are not joining their writing, we cannot assess them as expected in Year 6. So this is a way that we can show them the evidence to say they can do the handwriting joined. It doesn't have to be every piece of writing that they do over the whole entire year joined, but they have to show us that they can do long periods of writing joined.
Sorry, yeah. Will you provide those, or do we have? Because I get those from Billy anyway.
Oh yes. So they are coming up. We have a couple. Jumping out, we have a comprehension one that we're going to do as well. The school has brought these. If you have already got these exact ones and the same numbers, you can check on the back. Then send those in, and if you're happy to send them in, we get them at a very cheap rate. I think they're £2 and £3, so you can have a contribution on ScoPay for your child to get these. So don't go out and buy them if you don't have them, because they'll be like £5.99 or something on Amazon, where we get them a lot cheaper. So we have brought for everybody, but if you do have them at home, yeah, please just use those ones instead of having to take your own. So we've got the comprehension. This is, well, what we are going to do is kind of remove the answers at the back, because they do have the answers at the back. So if you do
and you are clever enough to find them.
Yeah, they will find them. What we will do is each comprehension, we will get the children to write the date that it's due and the date that they got them, so they know exactly which piece that they are doing. It's not, please don't let them just whiz through the whole booklet over the summer. That's not the point of this. All homework we are going to be going over in class. Handwriting's a little bit different, but the comprehension and the arithmetic, when we go over that, we will be doing it in class. So if they've done it like 4 weeks ago, they won't be able to tell us and answer the questions, because if we're not recapping and reviewing, there's no point to it. So that's our theory behind our madness.
The other thing to add to that is that separately there will be an arithmetic sheet which will be provided for them. That will be different, because that's going to be based on what the children are struggling with overall as a whole cohort. So for example, if we find that after our first round of mock sats that actually this work really does need some work on, then we will tailor this arithmetic sheet based on that and the recap that we're doing within classes. So that's going to be much more flexible rather than just working through a book. But we will always make sure that it's something that we have already recapped. We won't be sending them home Year 6 level fractions before we've even begun to touch on that. It will very much be a recap and a consolidation of what we've already done. Mrs. Ward.
Yeah. Will it still be White Rose Maths?
No, probably not. It will probably be, because this is going to be Mr. Moore's very, very special remit. So it may well be a mixture of different question sources, but the important thing is that it will be tailored to the live results that we're getting from the children.
The curriculum is still White Rose, though.
Yeah, so maths
So our
lessons will still be White Rose. Yes, and we'll touch a little bit more on that in a little bit. And reminder that this is fortnightly, so there's a whole 2-week window in which the expectation is for them to complete this. So page from the handwriting book, an arithmetic sheet, and a reading comprehension from the CGP books as well. So they can be bought on Scopay. It will be £5 for both of them, roughly, and they will receive those books in September. So please don't feel that you need to go out and get them. You can just pay for it on Scopay, and we will have them ready for the children with the answers removed. And we will also explain all of this in detail in September to them, model through how we're going to be writing the due date and the set date as well. And we'll just be making all of that really, really clear to them in September.
They don't know it yet. We kind of didn't cover
We
homework.
wouldn't spoil their move-up morning.
With homework in the morning. So we will give them some weeks, well, not weeks. We'll give them maybe a week in September just to get used to things. We're not going to be like day one, right, here's your homework, it's due.
Very much so.
So yeah, we will model it. The first one we'll be doing together, so they'll have a really good understanding, and they should be able to sit down at home and do this mostly independently.
And there will be a sort of a homework folder as well that goes home, so they can keep all of that in one place with them as well. White Rose, cool. So moving back onto that topic. So White Rose is our curriculum provider that we use. We do Bizlify it. So we decide actually this class is really good at this topic, or we need a little bit more practice at this topic. And that's when we feel free to go off-piste, because that's what's best for the children. This year, your group have been trialling having the actual workbooks to work in. And you can see that Miss Hinks has got an example of that there. Whereas our Year 6s this year have been using these as textbooks, so they've been copying down the answers and the questions into their books. The senior leadership team have been reviewing this across the year, and they have been asking the children what they think about it. They respond really positively to it. It's just really helpful for those children to just have the one book to worry about in maths, rather than juggling a maths book and a textbook and any other resources that they might be using as well. So we think it's hugely beneficial, and we were relieved when Mrs. McConnell said it's going to be continuing on into Year 6. So they are £11, and any contributions that you wish to make via Scopay will be hugely appreciated if you feel that you are able to. So obviously this is part of our curriculum. So if you feel that you can donate to that, that will be hugely appreciated. A really good point.
They will get the equivalent of the level that they're at.
Level.
So it'll be tailored for them. So it won't be they expect to do the Year 6 level. Don't worry about that. They'll get the level that they're... Yes. Yes, so we've got all of those. It'll be the same price. We've got them all for all of their levels. Yeah. So the handwriting one will be the same, because that's just handwriting. But the comprehension will be tailored to their level. So we've worked out where they are now, and we've brought the books for all those children at those different levels.
All right, thank you.
So they'll still be able to do it independently. Yeah.
And of course, all of this leads up to the big scary word of Year 6, which is SATs, the Standardised Assessment Test. Do you want to take this one?
Sure. So they're over the 4 days. The dates are for May the 10th to Thursday the 13th. They are always done in the same order, and we have to do them on those days. So we start with the SPAG paper, which is the grammar and the punctuation, and then on the same day they do a spelling test. They've got 2 papers on that first day. On the Tuesday, we move on to the reading paper, which is the reading comprehension. That's our longest paper. On the Wednesday and the Thursday, we then move on to maths. Thursday, we've got 2. The difference with the maths is that you've got the arithmetic, and then you've got the 2 reasoning papers. It depends on your child. If they love English, they'll be great, happy at the start of the week. Or if they're more maths heavy, they'll be kind of waiting for that to be at the end of the week. There are exceptional circumstances, say if your child's ill or something traumatic has happened, that there are different kind of reasonings that we can put in. But if your child is just not here, they will not be able to resit it. They have to sit it on that day. And if they are really poorly or something like that, they have to be isolated from everybody until they sit those papers. So don't worry that if your child's really not well, there are ways around it, but obviously we want to make sure that everybody is in for those days. What comes up every year is our SATS breakfast that we do. We invite all the children early, we feed them, and they're very keen on whatever it is that we're feeding them. I don't have the menu already, but we provide breakfast for them, ask them to come in a little bit early, just to kind of relieve a bit of their tension, because every child will react differently to SATs. And I think when you talk, some need a lot of talking through and lots of preparation. Others are kind of like, I don't want to know until I'm in it. And every way is fine. And when we get to know the mock SATs and things like that, we will get to know how your child is going to deal with them and how we can best support them. We do 3 rounds of mock SATs. So we do one we put it into just the end of September. We do one in March, and then one just before in March, and then we do one in February as well. So we kind of do one every term. And that's kind of a checkpoint for us. And it also gives you immediate feedback of actually when we analyze them that, actually fractions is a real key point that we need to work on a little bit more. And also by the time they're coming to the real ones, they know exactly what they look like. The mock SATs are exactly what we give them in the real ones. They are just past ones, which blew quite a lot of their minds this year. They just thought we kind of made them up, but they are just the past papers from previous years.
Yeah. And the question that we got this morning about SATs was, what time do we come in for the breakfast? Yeah. How early is it? So I think that goes to show that you're doing a great job with getting them ready, and they're not too worried about it, which is really, really great to see. So they are then sent away. Unlike mocks, which we mark here within school, they are actually then packaged up and sent away, and we don't get to see them again. And the results don't come back until early July. So we can expect them about this time next year is when we will be giving you guys the opportunity to come in, collect your child's report and your SATs results together in almost like a third term parents evening, but in a bit of a shorter meeting, so you know exactly where they are before they then head off to secondary school. I think that is, because we've sort of already gone through all of that and the timings of them. I think that's about that.
So this is just a little bit about the results. What we have a raw score, and that's actually how many marks they have completed in that paper. These raw scores is translated into a scaled score or a standardized score, just depends on the wording. And the judgment is the national standard, and they set 100 is the standardized score that they need to meet to be at the year 6 level. So it kind of depends on the paper. It's roughly only about 50% of the paper that they need to get correct to meet that year 6 standard. So when you get the papers and they have got less than half and you get a bit disheartened, just kind of, we'll always give you the standardized. So look at the standardized rather than the raw score of those results. Every year it's slightly different. What they do, they look at all of the papers nationally and they say, actually, everyone has found we've been a bit harsh and these papers are quite difficult this year, so they lower or higher the standardized. So we won't know that straight away, but when we give them back to you, we will tell you how close they are in that standardized. So 99, where you think, they're just there, that could be a range. In maths, it's a bit higher. It could be about 7 marks. So we're just trying to push them as close to that 100 as possible.
Yeah, and this is something that we say to the children with that first round of mock SATs that will happen. It's always the worry point. We say, look, actually, this is a paper that's designed for the end of year 6. Don't forget that you're just at the beginning of year 6 now. It's really important to bear that in mind. And more than anything, it's for us to get an idea of where we are, what we need to work on, and for you to feel familiar with exactly what they look like. And actually, by the time the real things come along, as Miss Hinks said, they say, we've done this so similar. They're very unfazed by it, which is really, really good to see. I don't think we need to go into
more details.
Details about any of them. So
we'll send these slides out. So this is just more details. If you've dealt with SATs before, if you've got siblings, you'll know this quite inside and out. But it's just a couple of example questions for you, so you can have a look at them as well, and a little bit more detail in terms of what is in which paper.
If you've done any sort of SPAD.com work, then that's pretty much identical in the way that they do that. And the CGP comprehension books are particularly good because, again, they are in a very, very similar style. They're just slightly shorter. And then the arithmetic paper is always my favourite because it's the one with no words. It's Miss Precy and Miss Hinks have 12 pencils. how many chickens are in the world. It's just what's 19% of 2,300. So that's the arithmetic paper. That's the first one that they come across. And then they get the reasoning papers, the more worded questions, on Wednesday and Thursday of SATS week. But that's 11 months away. Yeah, just under 11 months away. But you will be surprised at how quickly it comes around. We are surprised by how quickly it comes around. We blink and it's May. So we have always found, I calculate, this is my 5th year of teaching in year 6, my 6th year if I include last year when I came up for the SATs just in time for it. And we found that positivity is hugely beneficial and definitely the best way to approach it. One thing to say though is that, as we mentioned, we use the past papers for the rounds of mock SATs, so please try not to give them too many of those, just so that it means that they won't be saying, oh, I've done this paper 5 times at home with mummy, and it gives us a more inflated result. And if they are feeling anxious, which they will be, it's very, very natural to be feeling that way, and you might be feeling that way yourselves as well, encourage them to come and speak to us, because there's lots of things that we can do to make it easier for them if we're aware of what those anxieties are. And obviously where we're in year 6, we really want to encourage them to be the ones to come and speak to us about it, and just to increase that independence as much as possible. Quiet, distraction-free spaces to complete homework or study. I know that could be a tall order, but it is really, really helpful. Eating and drinking well and getting good sleep as well is hugely important. And secondary schools will be saying the same things when it's coming around to GCSEs, but that's a long way away. Yeah. That's focus on what children know about maths and English. I think that's a really important thing to point out as well. And as we know, children are so interested and excited about so many other things, and we make that quite clear to the children as well. We say, look, they only test your abilities in a certain few areas. Actually, school is about so much more than just that. So we like to put that emphasis on that, and it's only 4 days out of their entire time at primary school, which is really mind-blowing when you think about it.
So SATs at Bisley, so we, like I said about the mock SATs, we do mock SATs, and that is to make sure they're prepared. We found it's really effective for them to have a see. We set it up exactly how it is. We do them same on the same days. We set up the classrooms as it is, so they're not coming in on that Monday and they're really shocked at what they're kind of seeing in front of them. During the real SATs, it'll be that complimentary breakfast for each day at school. So make sure they're a good time. They'll have some time outside that's not running around, because we don't want any broken arms, but gives them that little bit of time before they come in. The children are relaxed just to try and do their best. There's no pressure we put on them. We don't like, come on, time. We just do what is best for them. Further information about the mock SATs. So we will give you notice on the mock SATs. It's not normally more than a week, because we don't want to kind of them going, oh, it's mock SATs. So we just give you a couple of days notice. You can have those discussions over the weekend to make sure that they are prepared for that Monday. You don't need to do anything different when it's the mock SATs. They are just coming in as normal. They don't need to be doing revision over the weekend. They don't need to kind of be cramming before each papers. It's just the homework that we've been doing. We're staggering it over the year, and that's what's going to be giving them the best preparation. And then after, about the writing, that I've already gone in about a few times, so I won't say again.
I know that we've spoken quite a lot about SATs and about mocks, because it is such a large part of the Year 6 experience. But we find that if we can give you as much information at this stage, we hope that you will be feeling prepared enough, especially those parents amongst you who will be going through this for the first time with your eldest children. So many people will think that SATs is the be-all and end-all of Year 6, but actually there's so much fun stuff that we're experiencing at the moment.
When I had kites this morning, we said, what do we know about Year 6? All these different things. I actually had to tell them that there was SATs, because that just didn't come up at all. So that was quite nice. I was like, oh, and just so you are aware that we do have to complete SATs. So we spent about 10 minutes talking before it even came up. So they were very relaxed about it, which was nice.
Class assemblies, which I absolutely love, as you can tell, anything dramatic. Will be a show and a production before we do the big main show and the big main production. As you can see, we're in the middle of painting like cars and things like that. there's a reason we haven't let you into the year 6 corridor, because it's filled with dynamite, explosive props, and all sorts of things like that. So that's a real highlight as well of the summer term. Another thing is the roles and responsibilities that we were talking about this morning as well, is that it's beyond just head boy and head girl. That there are also things like ambassadors who will represent the school at parents' evenings and at other events as well. And also there's designated helpers for those children who will go and help Mrs. McConnell set up for events in the hall and things like that. There's all sorts of responsibilities, librarians, and we just like to encourage that going the extra mile and taking the initiative that will really hold them in good stead at secondary school. Forest School Fridays will continue into next year. Our residential trip, which we're currently preparing for, it's next week for us. It's the best one. Yeah. I know that High Ashurst is good fun, but Thames Young Mariners is the best one, and I can say that from experience as well. That's going to be really good fun. Market Day, of course. I bet they've already told you what they've been planning to do their stalls for when they came home from Market Day last week. And we get that in September. They know that they're going to be making bookmarks, and we'll see what happens when we get there. So that's a highlight. And of course, there is always a celebration towards the end of term as well. Sometimes that is in the form of a theme park trip, although it's not always guaranteed that it's going to be a certain theme park or that it's going to be a theme park trip. We like to make it fit the year group and the cohort and what we think they're all going to enjoy the most. So that's why we put it there as a celebration, just so that you know there will be some sort of big thing that they get to do that no other year group gets to do, because that's the real exciting thing about year 6, is that there are some things that they get that the other year groups don't get. Grab and go, the benches in collective worship is massive.
I told Kites today how the money that they made at Market Day goes towards their celebration. That blew their minds a bit. I think they just thought they kept the money. I'm not quite sure what they thought. But that is a contribution that we normally pay for a coach, or if we do something here, it pays for something here. So that's the reasoning, one of the reasonings behind Market Day. So that came up a lot, Market Day.
Lovely. Secondary schools.
So secondary schools. So you have to apply by the end of October, which always falls in October half term. You will have us badgering us going, have you selected a school? Have you selected a school? Because it really slips away from you. So it's the last day, so it'll be the 31st, if that's not a weekend. I haven't quite worked it out this year. So we will have opportunities, well, you will have opportunities to go to all the local secondary schools to have a visit. Take your child with you. It's really important that they're involved in the decision making. They will hopefully be a little bit more on board. You need to tell us if you're going to a secondary school, and that will be an authorised absence, but you just need to let the office know. It's also really handy if we know as well, because whether 90% of the class is going to Winston for a morning, it's quite nice to know that we won't have that many in. We can help, we can be a sounder board, you can talk to us about it, but we can't help you kind of involve in the decision, because it's what works best for you, works best for your family, and also for your child. So our advice is to get out there, go and see as many as you can. Some of you might only be able to go to one because you think transport issues, and that's okay. It's just what's right for you and your family. If you want to talk to us, pastoral team, SLT, and we can kind of steer you in the right direction of, we'll contact this person for this school. Please do make us know about the school visits, and it has to be in by the 31st of October. Also another one, if you've got an older sibling, it's really important that just because they're at Winston or another school, it might not be the right decision for that child. If you're able to go, if they can visit other schools as well, that is really nice. That just because you've got one child somewhere, obviously some families, they might have to go there because just logistics wise, but it is nice to think about your year 6 child when you're making that decision.
Wonderful. And we do think that's everything, but we're aware that you will have so many other things that you wanted to talk about. So please do feel free to hang around and have a little chat with us.
Can I just add one thing about secondary schools? So Winston, the last 2 years,
2 years
have done a taster day on a Friday. Oh, this is off the top of my head. I've got no idea if I've got the date right. I think it's something like Friday the 19th of September. If that's a Friday, it's that Friday. And they will invite everyone. There is discrepancy here between local schools. Some local schools take their whole year 6 cohort and make the whole year 6 cohort go for the day and stay and experience what secondary school is like. I don't think that's personally the right decision, because some of you will already know that your child's not, because of where you live, won't go to Winston, or you personally don't want your child to go there. You want them to go somewhere else. So we very much give you the option. So please don't feel pressurised either way. I do think, from a parent point of view, it does give them a taster of a secondary school and what it's like. But also, don't be fooled because not all year groups are in Winston on that day. So it's not a full school day. We will be sending, I think, Miss Hinks and Mrs. Tidy because they went last year. So if you do send your child, we will have.
I know about it. If you want, the letter gives you some information, but it's not all. If you've got a question, come and ask me because I did go last year.
And the other thing that families get very caught out on, as they said, if this is your first child, the sessions, the open evenings they do in September, they are not as, well, that's a bit rude, like I said, they're not as accommodating as primaries, but they're not. We will do lots of tours. The secondary schools won't. They are fixed on those days. And even if you've got a reason why you can't make that day and you want to make another day, good luck. So don't miss it. So if you go onto their website and just click Year 7 induction, it'll all start coming
They'll all
up.
be out there.
Today and tomorrow, so they've got our Year 6s, so that's their priority. Once they've got to the end of this week, they then turn their priority to you guys.
Is that what we do? Sorry. Do we contact the schools to find out? Or
So they will put information out, they will give us flyers. We will pass any information on from any local secondaries to you. We're not biased in any way at all. And then there will be induction evenings that normally you can just go along to. And that's fine. It's the tours in the morning that Miss Hinks is talking about, when you can see the school up and running. You have to be booked onto those tours.
I would look now because the time we get the packs and send the packs out, I remember looking this year and I was like, oh, all of those dates have passed the date. Yeah. So I would kind of look as soon as you can.
I'd say between you as parents, sharing things that you can see that's coming up is really helpful. But I will say that 31st of October sounds a very long way away now. And obviously, you know, I'm very lucky. It is my second, and that is where I don't have to think about it for the first time. I nearly missed it, like I did in reception. It does come around really, really, really quick. So just to start flag post.
Yeah.
Do you know just roughly, is there a window of when you can apply? Like it closes 31st? Is it open like 10 days before, or is it just open whenever?
I want to say 3 weeks.
I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
As soon as it is, we will email you. And then the good thing is that admissions will email us and say, you know, Leo's mum hasn't applied for a place. Can you go and chase them?
Yeah.
And so we will prod you as